Hi, my name is Chloe Strickland, and this is a story about the first time that I ever flew in an airplane to get to my sorority sisterhood retreat at Walt Disney World. One of my favorite days of my life was last year. My sorority went to my favorite place in the world, Disney World, for the weekend. When we were first told that we would be going to Disney World for our sisterhood retreat, my sisters and I were ecstatic. We began planning every aspect of this trip. Although it was only 2 days, we made sure that we had the time of our lives. We had to write down what choice of transportation that we would be taking for our risk management, and after some thought and talking with our parents, my friend Sarah and I decided that we felt safer flying to Orlando. So we booked our flight and found our tickets. The day of our retreat, we made sure that we got to the airport really early so that we were able to board our flight on time. We got there around 3 o'clock for our 7:30 flight. I had never flown before, so going to the airport was a little nerve-wracking for me. I walked in and immediately felt overwhelmed by the security. They made us take off our jackets and shoes and basically anything that could set off a metal detector. After going through security, I calmed down a lot while we went to find our gate. I was glad that my best friend Sarah was with me so that I did not have to go through all of that on my own. After we went through airport security, we realized we were both starving, so we got Bojangles and we decided to play on our phones until it got closer to boarding time. While we were sitting there, another girl from our sorority, Kelsey, who managed to get on the same flight as us, showed up and we talked about how excited we were for the next hour. Our flight ended up being delayed 3 hours because the flight attendant was late from the flight she had previously been on. I honestly didn't mind because they let us board the plane super early. My friend Sarah and I ended up having to sit really far away from each other on the plane, but it was fine because we knew that it wasn't a long flight. I chose to watch a Disney movie while I waited. It only seemed fitting since we were on our way to the happiest place on earth. I sat in the middle seat in between two men who appeared to be fathers and who had the same thing on their mind as me, Disney. The man on my left was reading a book about Walt Disney, and the man on my right was playing a Disney game from one of the apps on his phone. We sat there for a really long time until our flight finally took off. The flight attendants went through our safety procedures, and I watched as the world around us while we flew into the air. It was absolutely beautiful outside, and I was in awe of the city lights. It was dark by the time we were able to take off, so I was able to see everything so clearly that it truly took my breath away, and I was so jealous of the man who had the window seat. I began to pay attention to my movie again, and the flight went by very quickly after that. I was so shocked at how steady the plane felt. I was expecting it to feel somewhat rocky for some reason, but I felt very safe. When we finally arrived at the Orlando airport, it took a while for us all to get off the plane. I grabbed my carry-on and walked off and waited on my friend Sarah, who sat closer to the back of the airplane. Once we both got off, we grabbed food in the airport and went back to the gate to meet our Uber. We were so excited to finally be in Orlando and could not wait for the weekend that was ahead of us and our sisters.